is time for one of college football's most underrated rivalries, the Cy-Hawk Trophy game between Iowa and Iowa State. A true slugfest in the trenches, a low-scoring game. You know the drill at this point. You know what you're getting when the Hawkeyes and the Cyclones face off, but we watch every year. We love it every year. The million-dollar question now is who's going to walk away with a massive early season victory. This rivalry game, guys, has been really close over the last 5 years. 4 of the last 5 meetings have been decided by one possession. Iowa State, obviously, since they have seen their resurgence under Matt Campbell, has been more competitive in this series. They even won the game last year, 20-19. Had a massive comeback, kicked that game-winning field goal, 20-19 on the road. But they have not won in Ames. They have not won at home since 2011. And obviously, we expect plenty of Cyclone fans to be there. We expect plenty of Hawkeye fans to be there. It's going to be an electric atmosphere like it always is. But can they finally end that streak? Can they finally get the win at home? That's what we're going to talk about today. Iowa State 2-0. They won in week 0 against Kansas State. They beat South Dakota 55-7. Iowa still trying to figure out their identity on offense. Looked good last week, 34-7 in a win over Albany where they rushed for over 300 yards. And that's where we will start. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball, and we'll start with the Hawkeyes. Look, last year was the first time that Iowa averaged more than 20 points per game since 2021. They finally eclipsed 20 points per game for the first time since 2021. Averaged a little over 27, so not too bad. They're hoping to improve on those numbers now with a very experienced transfer quarterback in Mark Gronowski, who threw for over 10,000 yards during his time with South Dakota State. But last week against Albany, he only attempted 15 passes, completed 8 of them for 44 yards and a touchdown. Again, some would say, concern in the passing game. I would say, why would you throw too much when Albany couldn't stop the run? Again, the Hawkeyes ran for 310 yards, ran the ball 53 times, averaged 5.8 yards per carry. So really don't blame them there. We didn't have to see Gronowski do much, which is great, but also you might have wanted to see him do a little bit more, get his feet a little bit wet in this offense, because now they're going on the road against a true college football playoff contender, and they're going to have to throw the ball. There's no way they win this game without throwing the ball, right? Xavier Williams, though, was fantastic last week for Iowa. 122 rushing yards on the day. Last year, you look at Iowa and Iowa State, the Hawkeyes had 204 rushing yards. They had 99 passing yards. They were able to win, almost win the game, I should say, strictly by running the football. But Iowa State's front seven has become very strong. It typically is strong. Last year, though, banged up by injuries, allowed nearly 200 rushing yards per game. Not going to be the case this year. Only gave up 110 rushing yards to Kansas State, only 82 to South Dakota. So I look at this game, guys. Iowa is going to need this resurgence offensively. We expect that to be the case. We know what they're capable of on the offensive line. They're always strong there. We know what they're capable of running the ball. That's fine. But can Mark Gronowski deliver through the air? If this game is close and you need a game-winning drive, can he deliver through the air? Can the wide receivers, which are just mediocre, can they help him out and deliver through the air? So that's what I'm watching out for more than anything is Iowa State stopping the run and Iowa's ability to throw the football. Because here's the thing. Iowa State, they're a balanced offense right now. And there's no doubt in my mind they own the edge in the passing game, and they own the edge at quarterback. In their win over Kansas State, you talk about balance, they had 183 passing yards and 130 rushing yards. It was a sloppy, nasty game in Ireland, but the Cyclones prevailed, and they did so behind the arm of Rocco Beck, behind the strength of their defense. Last week against South Dakota, 306 passing yards, 223 rushing yards. Rocco Beck, 19 for 20. 95% of his passes is what he completed. He missed just one throw, 278 yards and 3 touchdowns. Was absolutely phenomenal. He's looked really good in these first 2 games. He's building chemistry with a fairly new wide receiver core. You know, remember, Iowa State did lose 2 1,000-yard receivers from last season. The running back core is loaded. Carson Hansen, Dylan Lee, Abu Sama. They got a big, strong offensive line. This is a good team, guys. We know this. I have them ranked 12th in our new GE Top 25 rankings. That's how good I believe this team is. And remember, they went away from the playoff last year, so they are a true Big 12 title contender, a playoff contender. The biggest thing is how do they fare up front in the trenches, right? We mentioned the offensive line. It's been pretty solid, but they did give up 4 sacks against Kansas State back in week 0, and they're going up against a pretty strong Iowa defensive line right now, too. So we mentioned at the beginning of this video, a slugfest in the trenches. Because when I think Iowa State and Iowa, I think big boys. I think strong offensive lines, strong defensive lines, low scoring, run the ball. That's what you think of when you think of the Cy-Hawk Trophy game, right? So, again, that's the battle you're watching out for. Can Iowa State protect their quarterback? Can they give Rocco Beck time to deliver? And can he deliver against what's appearing to be a pretty good Iowa secondary? whether Iowa's really good, really bad, whatever it may be, I never underestimate Kirk Ferentz, number one, and I never underestimate Phil Parker, number two, one of the best defensive minds in the entire game. And this is a pretty good Iowa secondary, which could force the Cyclones to have to resort a little bit more to the run. Can they do that? Would they be capable of winning a game like that? Yeah, sure. But you need to find a way to make sure Rocco Becht is still very much involved and is delivering through the year. You don't want to become one-dimensional. Last year in this game, Iowa did allow 272 passing yards. They did allow only 89 rushing yards. So, again, kind of the opposite of what I'm saying now. They were really good at stopping the run, but they really weren't able to defend the pass very well. And there was a couple big-time chunk pass plays that was the difference maker for the Cyclones in that game. Again, they only won 20-19. The key in this game, more than anything, is to pressure Rocco Becht, right? Last week against Albany, Iowa had 2 sacks. They had 5 tackles for a loss. You've got to find a way with this strong of a defense and what we do expect to be a fairly low-scoring game, because it's been that way time and time again. If you can get Iowa State behind the chains, get them behind the chains, that's what you need to do. Second and long, third and long. And when I say third and long, like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. It doesn't have to be like more than 10, right? But get them in some longer situations where you know they're going to throw the ball, and that secondary, which is pretty dang good, can really hone in on that and maybe force a couple turnovers or just get the ball back. Because Iowa's not going to score every time they touch the ball. I don't think they're going to score a whole lot, period. Iowa State's defense is too good. I don't have faith in Iowa's offense that much. So you've got to find a way to get yourself either in some really good field position, which your defense is going to create, or get them the ball as many times as possible, because eventually the Hawkeyes will break through. So that's kind of what we're watching out for here. Iowa State on the other side, this is a more healthy defense than they had last year. Keep in mind, the Cyclones did win last year over the Hawkeyes. I want to keep harping on that. They won on the road. They're capable of doing this despite not winning at home since 2011. The front seven is really, really good, and getting some of their top guys back in the linebacking core that are returning from injury has been a huge help for the Cyclones defense, right? Caleb Bacon returns, Will McLaughlin returns. Those guys were injured last year. They're back, and I really, really like this front seven. And I'm looking at this game, and the recipe, and I know Matt Campbell knows this, the recipe is simple: force Iowa to throw. They don't want to throw. When have they wanted to throw? They haven't had anybody to do it. I mean, even when they get these elite transfer quarterbacks, right? They don't really pan out. They don't have the wide receivers to do it. They don't have the quarterbacks to do it. And I think Gronowski's a fine quarterback. I think he's a more than capable quarterback. But again, if you limit the run and shut that down completely and make it to where Iowa, the only way they can really move the ball effectively is by throwing, Iowa State's going to be sitting really pretty, because I just don't have faith in Gronowski in this spot. I don't have faith in his pass catchers in this spot. So if Iowa State can hold their own in the trenches, if they can shut down the run almost in its entirety, don't allow 310 yards like Iowa put up last week, don't allow over 200 yards like the Hawkeyes had last year, if you can limit them to, I would even say 150 or less, 150 or less against Iowa running, you're going to be in good shape. Force the Hawkeyes to throw the ball. And if you can force just one pick and convert off of that, you win the game. And I feel very confident in that. So you've got to find a way to do that. They kind of got torched against Kansas State back in Ireland. Allowed a lot of passing yards to the Wildcats. But again, with the loss of Dylan Edwards, with the Wildcats kind of struggling at times, again, like 65 yards of those that they put up were on one singular play. So take that consideration. If they can have a better secondary performance than they did in Ireland, I believe the Cyclones will be fine. So it's a lot of keys to this game, guys. And the beauty of this game, I mentioned, it's one of the most underrated rivalry games in college football. The beauty of it is we really don't know what's going to happen. It's so unpredictable in the Cy-Hawk game. It's got a great, rich history that I don't think people talk nearly enough about. It's become a lot more competitive in recent years because of how good Iowa State has become under Matt Campbell. But you never know. It's typically low scoring, and that's why one big special teams play, one big turnover, one screw up, one mistake can completely change the game. Sometimes you make one mistake, you can overcome that. It's not always the case in the Cy-Hawk game because of how good these defenses are and how just low scoring and tough it is to find the end zone. And that's been the case for so many years. But I believe in this spot, Iowa State does win at home for the first time since 2011. I believe they will defeat Iowa at home for the first time since 2011. This Iowa State team, to me, feels different. I don't know what it is. Matt Campbell just seems like a man on a mission. I noticed it from week 0 when they took down Kansas State, and then they destroyed South Dakota. Typically a game, Iowa State was only like a 14, 15-point favorite in that game. maybe a letdown spot, hungover from a long trip to Ireland. They don't always fare well against FCS teams. You win by 48 points. This just feels like a different Iowa State team at every single level. They've got the quarterback edge in this game. I think they got the entire offensive edge in this game. I think the defense can match Iowa step for step, might even lean Cyclones defensively. They've got home field advantage. Sure, anything can happen. Yes, I think it's fairly low scoring, but give me Iowa State to finally get the job done and improve to 3-0. Iowa State is the real deal, guys. They are the legit Big 12 title contenders. They're a legit college football playoff contender. If you were sleeping on them before, you better not be sleeping on them now because they're winning on Saturday, and I don't think they're going to be losing anytime soon. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks, some of the best college football and NFL spread picks in the entire country. You do not want to miss out on those. Again, some of the best in the country, some of the lowest prices in the country. Take advantage of them. Take advantage of our weekly newsletters, also over on thegridironexpert.com. All of that there for you to become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.